Imagine you're trying to watch your favorite movie online or finish a late night assignment due tomorrow, and suddenly, click, the lights go out, the fan stops, the Wi Fi dies. In that moment of darkness, you haven't just lost power, you have lost your connection to the world. We've been taught that the solution is green energy, but the sun goes down every night and the wind stops when we have homework to do. But in our quest for a we've treated these realms as rivals, separate industries, separate grids, and separate solutions. We wait for the wind to blow or we wait for the tide to turn, while the gaps in our energy production are filled by the very carbon we are trying to escape. Why are we treating the survival of our planet and the growth of our nation like a team sport where only one side can win? Why are we forcing ourselves to choose between two or three imperfect solutions when the answer might be right in front of us, hidden in the gap between them? What if I told you that the very storms that forced our wind turbines to shut down were actually our moments of highest energy potential? When the winds reach gale speeds that could snap a turbine blade, we flip a switch. We feather our turbines to protect them. Right when nature is at its most energetic, our technology becomes a spectator. Why are we designing systems that have to retreat from the elements? Why are we forcing ourselves to choose between two or three imperfect solutions when the answer might be right in front of us? So this led to the idea of Hydro Aerovolt. It is basically the reimagining of a traditional offshore wind turbine not as a static pole, instead as a kinetic hybrid that treats the sky and the sea as a single fluid medium. When the wind is at its optimum condition, it stands tall. But when the wind speeds become too volatile or the kinetic energy of the waves outweighs that of the air, the system undergoes a transition. The turbine assembly is lowered into the water column. We move from capturing the low density energy of the air to the high density kinetic energy of the sea. And since water is roughly 800 times denser than air, even slow moving waves or subsurface currents can generate a significant power supply that wind alone cannot guarantee. Well, how did I actually come up with this? So, I was just sitting in a lecture about India's natural resources. And if you've ever been in a room where someone has been droning on about coal seam statistics in a monotone voice for the past 90 minutes, you know the vibe. My brain had already checked out and gone on vacation. So, I started doing what every productive student does. I started doodling in the corner of my notebook. I was half listening to the professor talk about discrepancies in wind energy load factors, and I ended up drawing a windmill. And because I'm such an amazing artist, I accidentally drew the waterline way too high, right above the tops of the blades. I stared at my mistake. A windmill, fully submerged, looking very confused underwater. But then I thought, wait, why is this a mistake? We spend billions making these towers tall enough to escape the spray, only to shut them down when the wind gets exciting. And I also noticed that we are treating the different natural resources as chapters in a textbook. Chapter 5 wind, chapter 6 hydro. But nature doesn't work in chapters. When a monsoon cloud blocks the sun in Kerala, the waves at its coast are crashing with more energy than ever. When the wind dies down in the plains, the sun is usually at its hottest. So I thought, why are we creating fences between these different sources instead of putting them together in the same exact spot? Well, my idea originated from the concept of hybrid energy production. This is a total game changer, because by doing this, we are basically co-locating different sources of energy onto the same piece of land or coastline. So imagine this, a coastal energy hub, the air occupied by wind turbines standing tall, and the water below the cliffs turn tidal turbines with the moon's gravity. By doing this, we stop building power plants and start building energy hubs that never sleep. Well, now that I've got my, you must be wondering whether this is actually possible or just the dreams and ambitions of a 4-year-old. Well, we are not just talking about a theory here. Look at the Novi Ocean in Sweden. It is designed to be able to harness the power of the sun on its deck, the wind with its vertical turbines, and the waves with its rhythmic bobbing, all on a single unit. It's like the Swiss Army of. By doing this, they've shown us that we can produce up to double the amount of energy per square kilometer as compared to traditional wind farms. This international example proves that the power mashup isn't just an Indian ambition. It is a blueprint for a world that refuses to let the sun setting or the wind dying down stop its progress. So, how will it actually benefit us? Number one, the main problem with traditional wind energy is intermittency. When the wind stops, the power stops. Now, because we are lowering the turbines into the water and moving from a rarer to a denser medium, we are basically able to harness continuous power throughout the day. Second, traditional wind turbines face massive mechanical stress during gales and storms. Because we are lowering the most fragile parts into the water, we are essentially protecting them while maintaining a constant power supply to fix the discrepancies in energy production. And three, by using the same footprint for both wind and hydro, we are essentially doubling the utility of the seabed lease that we use. This is crucial as maritime space gets crowded with fishing lanes and shipping zones. It uses one substation for 2 power plants. This severely reduces the LCO, as we say, or the cost of energy. Ultimately, the lesson here isn't about mechanical torque or fluid dynamics. No, it is about our mindset when we face a storm. Our current energy model sees unfavorable conditions as a reason to stop, to shut down, and to hide. But nature, it never shuts down. It simply shifts its energy from the pulse of the wind to the tides. When we stop trying to fight the environment and start flowing with it, moving from the sky to the sea as the world demands, we realize that strength isn't about standing still against the wind. Instead, it is about having the courage to dive deep when the surface gets rough. As you go back today, I want you to see the world not as a series of separate problems, but instead as a web of interconnected solutions. The problems we face, climate change, energy shortages, expensive electricity, won't be solved by a magic invention. Stop looking for the perfect source, there isn't one. The sun is imperfect, the waves are seasonal, and the winds are unpredictable. But when you join them, when you merge the genius of our innovators with the sheer will of 1.4 billion people, that is a force of nature that no storm can silence. The way forward is to stop thinking in one direction. Stop choosing teams and start building the ultimate team, because a Viksit Bharat isn't a dream for a distant 2047. It is the fire in our eyes today. It is the refusal to let our progress be dictated by the weather. It is a promise that no child in this country will ever have to study by the flicker of a dying lamp again. It is a promise. It is a machine that you are going to build, and it's going to be powered by everything the sky, the sea, and the earth has to offer. Thank you.